Well, happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
I was saying to the kids that I can't believe it's Friday again. The days feel really long, but no, the days like fly by, but they also feel long.
I can't believe it's still January.
I know it's only been 2 weeks into the year. I feel like we've done so much,
Well, it's been a long December.
and I have reason to believe.
I mean, I feel, I posted
Yeah,
about it, but December is really any month that is exhausting to
so
me.
all months. So,
Oh, all months are,
well, we made it through another week, folks. We are here with your favorite sisters,
one of
and
us is a little distracted, but I will not be distracted in 1
it's
minute.
okay, you're allowed. I'll just soft shoe this. Um, you had a dream the other night that I wore winged eyeliner, and I did it
Hmm.
today. I don't know if you can
Yeah. Does
see.
it feel good?
I
I can't
actually
really
I
see.
yeah, you can't really see it. I it's not super wingy, but it's eyeliner.
Yeah. I think that you might have
Mhm.
to work up to that level of
Yeah,
wing that you had
I
in
might
my
have to have
dream.
a makeup person do that for me, but that's
Yeah. It
fine.
was an intense level of wing and looked great in my
Yeah,
dream.
I did put eyeliner on
And you
because I
should
was like, "You
definitely
know what?
do
Why not?"
things that I tell you in dreams.
I appreciate that. I was actually trying to write about that the other night, and I was having a lot of struggle figuring out how to say it so people would understand what I was trying to say, which is not related to you by any means, but it's about dreams. It's if anybody had I wanted to ask a question on Threads, and I couldn't figure out how to say it,
Mhm.
which is, has anybody been with a partner who was maybe narcissistic in tendencies or, lied
Mm.
and had and told you that they needed to do something in their life because of a dream they had,
Oh, I've had that happen to me
but
twice.
only afterwards did you realize it was all made up.
Well, I think there's a presupposition there that you are a person that would believe that would believe that,
Right,
right? Like, if I said to Thomas, "I was told in a dream that we need to move our flat," he'd be like, "Okay, what's your subconscious telling you? Because that's not I don't believe in prophecies and dreams." He would be like, "I believe your
right.
subconscious just wants you to move. Your dreams are trying to tell you something." So, the first is that they have to understand that you
Right.
would be like, "Oh, well, the dream said it."
Well, it was a very I mean, I'm happy to share the story, but it was a very,
It
I
was
dreamt
manipulative.
it was manipulative, but it was like, I dreamt that this musical instrument came to me basically in a
Mhm,
dream, right?
mhm.
And then it was from an instrument from a dead musician. And then lo and behold, Jenny, that instrument was for sale on a music
And you
website.
encouraged him to buy it because of the
I
dream.
I said, "Well," I didn't really have a choice, let's be honest, but I was like,
Yeah. Well, you were
I
willing to support that person
wow, that's
in
so
any
weird, right,
way
right,
that seemed like they would not continue to make your life
right, and now looking back, I'm like, "Oh my god, it was all
right,
fake.
right.
It was all
Well,
fake."
right, but the thing is, I mean, they they manipulated you based on what they knew about you,
Right,
which is
because
that
I'm a
you would
spiritual person who
right.
understands that
It
stuff,
was there
right,
exactly, which I
right.
think is technically spiritual abuse.
It is spiritual abuse, and I don't think anybody we talk about spiritual abuse maybe in terms of, like, Christian relationships and using,
Yeah. Yes,
God, but
yes.
we don't talk about woo spiritual
No,
abuse, but
let's
we've
talk
also
about it.
experienced that in other relationships in our life,
Yes.
and so we very much understand that, but there was
Well,
definitely yeah.
yeah, for sure. Yes, that person utilized that against you. I once had a friend that stopped talking to me, and when I ran into them on the street, I said, because I'm always amazed that I say things like, I was like, "Where did you go?" And he said, "I had a dream that you weren't in my life and my life was better, so I cut you out of my life." Now, I don't know if that's true or not, but he was never in my life again. I just looked him up the other day. His life doesn't seem so great. So
Sounds like a Paul Simon song. Ran
he was
into you
a
on
little
the
bit of a
street.
Paul Simon like character.
Yeah. Yeah, but I was trying to articulate how to ask that because so much of what I write
Has
sometimes
anyone else had their spirituality manipulated against them? Their non-theological spirituality, their
right.
woo spirituality used to abuse them or be manipulated. And I'm
But
sure, yes,
I'm
I
sure,
would
yes, too, but
imagine.
specifically in dreams, I was thinking, like, to
Yeah.
come to you because we have experience in that too, right? Where it's like somebody will be
Well,
like,
I'm gonna be honest with you. I also don't not that I trust him, but I also believe that maybe they saw the instrument they had the dream, they told you the story, they left out the part where they saw the instrument. Like, you know what I
Oh,
mean?
no, 100%. I think that there's a circle there that's all
Right.
connected for sure in
Right.
some capacity, right?
And, like,
But
yeah, I believe that the dream could have been real. I don't believe that they were creative enough to make up a dream is what I'm trying to say.
oh, well, maybe. But it reminds me of, like, in Fiddler on the Roof, right? How Tevye makes up the dream to
Yes.
manipulate the
This man
situation.
was no Tevye, is what I'm trying to
No,
tell
this
you.
man was no Tevye, by the way.
He was no
He was
Tevye.
no Tevye. But
And
I have seen instances where people, sometimes parents, right, will say to you, like, "Oh, no, I had a dream that you were walking across the street and got hit by a bus, and now I don't want you to cross streets anymore." Right? Like,
yeah.
okay, and I think you're totally
Right.
right.
Well, I always think of, the story of a family member who refused to get on a plane to go to somebody else's wedding because they were
Uh-huh,
sure that if they got on the plane, it was going to crash,
uh-huh.
and so they didn't go, and somebody else was like, "I think they just didn't wanna go to the wedding."
Right.
Like, I think sometimes spirituality, because it is quite literally esoteric,
Right, you
is
can't
often
pinpoint
used
it.
up.
Right, I mean, like, which came first, the chicken or the egg, right? So it's like, did he see the thing and then have a dream about it? Did he
Definitely,
s
I'm gonna be honest, he definitely saw the thing, and it
Oh,
either made the dream
I
happen
know.
or made him come up with the dream. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, like, for example, you know, there was an instance that this person that I was married to, when we broke up, got very, very hyperfixated on a specific culture's type of music, and then afterwards, I found out that he ended up with a partner of that culture.
Yeah, and that relationship started probably not while you were still married, but while you were still living
Um,
in the house together.
yeah, definitely while we were living
Well,
together.
we were still legally married, but not
Yeah.
together. I'm of the crazy idea that once you say to somebody, "I wanna get a divorce, let's proceed to get a divorce," that marriage is over.
Oh, I agree
Like,
with you.
no, I know you agree with me. I always think it's when people are like, they're still married. I'm like, divorces take time. That
Yeah.
I don't think that you have to make yourself a nun that whole time. But yes, I think that relationship happened, we know very, very quickly afterwards.
But there's just been there absolutely was an understanding that I believe in a lot of things, and
Oh,
let's
yeah.
see how we can
And that was, by the way, a way that they at person, connected with you too because
Right.
their family had some
Yes.
of those same.
And I absolutely believe that the family also used storytelling to manipulate people in the spiritual sense.
Manipulative? Yeah, like,
Yes.
it's like narrative weaving.
Yes, and very, intentional. This is not what we were talking about today at all,
No.
but very intentional placement of stories.
Mhm.
Um, I remember being in their house once, and I was an in-law, obviously, and they were talking really crappy about, like, another in-law, basically saying, like, "This could happen to you," kind of a thing, like,
It
you
was like a
know
threatening like
Yeah, yeah.
like a veiled threatening
Yeah,
conversation.
yeah, yeah. And it was like and, it's just so fascinating looking back on all of those things. Now as a healed person and much older, right, I'm like, "Oh, I
Yeah.
see now what you were all
What are you,
lying."
20 years on nearly from when you met that
Yeah,
person?
yeah, yeah.
15 years? You're
20,
16 years
almost
on?
20. I mean, almost 20,
No,
18
you were like
years.
25 when you
I
met
was
them.
24 when I met him, yeah.
So you're 40
I was
now.
young. Yeah, I was young.
I know, I know. I mean, I think about that a lot. Like, you were a child bride.
I was
Not, not in the traditional sense, but, like, kind of emotionally.
Yes,
And I think about that
emotionally.
with myself
It's a
too
good
because,
topic.
like, even though I was not married to the person that
Yeah,
I was with,
yeah.
and we
You're
weren't engaged, I was with him from the time I was
yeah,
23. Like,
yeah.
I wasn't making new choices.
No.
There's just the one decision. Let's ride it out for the rest of our lives.
Yeah, no, I think that the emotional child bride it's a good topic. I'm gonna make a note on that one. Anyway,
Mark it.
that was our therapy session for today. I'm happy. Let's see, why am I happy today? Well, my office is a disaster, like
Mhm.
disaster. I'm not even gonna show it you because I'm currently trying to refresh all the artwork and make it a little bit of a nicer place for me and make a little art corner for myself so I have somewhere
Uh-huh.
that's not my desk to do art. And, when Pat came up the other night to help me hang a mirror in the hallway, he came in here and he was like, "What happened in here?" Um, I'm currently moving a lot of your stuff into boxes because you don't live here anymore, and,
That's true.
so that's been fun. But this weekend, we kids don't have therapy, and so I have all day
Oh, that's
Saturday and
good.
Sunday. We do love
Mhm.
our therapist, but it's a nice break. And so I have a lot of stick-on wallpaper I'm gonna try to hang, and, a lot of
I did
artwork.
see that journalist that you were talking about did something about wallpaper. I think it was about
Yeah, yeah,
stick-on
yeah, yeah,
wallpaper, yeah.
yeah. And, I have a lot of artwork going to hang up, and I'm working on trying to curate my miniature offices. We have a whole office building back here. We have all these offices.
Are they different offices? They're
Yeah.
miniature doctor's office back there?
No, they're all, like, kind of fresh startsy. So, like, one
They're all therapist
I'm
offices,
gonna be honest
basically?
with you, very therapy, but I did Google, miniature podcast studio, and I may have to work on that.
I feel that, your youngest child would be very good at doing polymer clay
Oh, yeah, he is. Yeah, yeah.
if you wanted,
Um,
like, a little
no,
microphone.
they make
I'm sure
them.
they
They
do.
make them, yeah. I got a little tiny
What a
plant in the
world.
mail. What's up there? I got a little tiny plant in the mail
I can
today.
see it. It's so
Yeah,
cute.
I know. I love my
Well, I love
but it
it.
takes me a while to figure out the little configurations, and you know what? It's the hyperfixation I need right now. Um,
I love letting things take a while.
yeah.
Like, I love letting things,
Yeah,
like.
your wall behind you looks good.
Thank you, the art right over there is
Yeah.
all off, but, yeah, I built this over time, and it felt like it took
Mm,
so long, but now it feels like I've had it forever, and
yeah.
I needed something, otherwise it's just a weird
No, it looks
wall.
great. It's very
Also, it's like
mommy.
a textured wallpaper, which is very
Oh,
weird, so I just feel like it weirds read on camera.
I like my little
Yeah,
miniatures
I
around
love
me.
it. It weirds read on camera.
Uh,
No, yeah, it's the best. It's super meaningful to me too, which is my favorite thing
yeah.
about it. What makes me happy today? I swam yesterday and today, and I've really been leaning into thinking about my swim as how lucky are you that you get to be in the place that you love so much, and the place that I love so much is underwater. Love
Mm,
being underwater.
that's interesting.
And so I swam yesterday and today. I didn't swim earlier this week because I couldn't. And it felt really nice to get back into it. I do 2 days on, 1 day off, 2 days on, 2 days off. And it's a nice cadence, and it felt lovely, and then I stopped at the grocery store on the way home, and I shopped basically through till Tuesday, which was a lot financially. I mean, it wasn't bad. It was like 50 pounds, which is like $70, which isn't
Yeah,
bad,
it's not bad at all.
for 2 people for like yeah, for like 4 or 5 days.
Mhm.
And but it was a lot to carry home, but I did it, and I'm excited. After this, I'm gonna go. I have, like, a couple of holes on the, comforter. The old shitty sewing machine I had did not do a great job of sewing
Mm,
together this, so I'm gonna go fix some holes and just sort of take a couple minutes to, like, tidy up the house, which I love doing.
yeah.
I love I really think that the return to office is horrible of so many people, but I think that one of the best parts about working from home or having one partner at least that works from home is having somebody like for me, I think it would be different if it was Thomas because he doesn't have his eye on the comforter the same way I do. But to be able to like do little things and not get home at 6 o'clock and be like
Mhm,
exhausted, both of you. I mean, I've done that
mhm.
before too. And to be able to be home, I'm very, very, very grateful for so many reasons, to have this job with you, but to be able to work from home and take 15 minutes between calls to, like, get the house together is such a nice thing to do. Also, I'm gonna order a new garbage can for the kitchen, which I'm very excited about.
That's exciting.
Yeah, I gotta do that.
Sorry, I'm making a list of the things that are in my head before I forget them. I have all these, like, things, it's like,
I
between the
know.
events and the our PR clients, and shout out to our wonderful PR client, Una Metz, who was
Oh,
on
mhm.
CBS Mornings yesterday, and I shuffled Wyatt out of bed, but to school early so I could make sure I was here to watch it. And she did a beautiful job, and
She did. She did a great
yeah,
job.
beautiful job, and, please go buy Unhitched. It's number 3 currently on the Amazon divorce book list, and we have podcasts all week going out with her. She did a bunch of podcasts with us about how to talk to kids about divorce, divorce groups, Unhitched. I did a review of Unhitched. And I wanted to say a shout out to Cindy DiTiberio, who is so kind and such a community oriented person, and did a beautiful post with Una about divorce resources, and did a
Mhm.
beautiful shout out to Fresh Starts Registry. So thank you, Cindy, for that, and we appreciate your support always. Um, do you know how many women I met with this week for divorce consults? I
How
don't
many
even know.
women?
Almost 20.
It's a
Yeah.
lot.
I have a bunch of, follow-ups to do. Yeah, it is a lot. Everybody's story is different too, and it's so interesting because we knew when we set out to build Fresh Starts that we wanted all different types of divorce professionals and family
Mhm.
professionals, and we really do use them all. Like, that's the
Yeah.
thing that, it's like, it's wild.
Yeah.
Um, and it's so funny because sometimes people come into our community and it's like the universe was like, they're supposed to be there, and then people start asking for them. So
That's so
we
funny.
have a new, not new, she's been around for a while, but an expert who helps families, neurodivergent families through life transitions, and
Mhm.
Dawn.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, like 5 people this week were like,
That's so
Do you have
funny, and
anybody that helps them?"
it's
I'm
in
like,
waves, right?
"It's
Like, all
always
of a
in
sudden, you'll
waves."
be like,
Yeah.
"Oh my god, Dawn," and
Yeah.
I laughed I still laugh at the story when, like, talking about waves, when you had, like, 3 Amandas,
Yeah.
and one of the experts was like, "I think you made a typo," and you were like, "No, I did not.
I have
There were
Amanda, I
3
have
Amandas."
you it's like, it's really wild. Like, I have all Texas one week, like, it just comes
Right.
in waves. But a shout out to all of listeners. If you need any divorce support, of course, send me an email, Olivia at freshstartsregistry.com. Make sure to put that
Or
S in
go
there.
to divorceresourceconsult.com
Or
and
go
book
to
a consult
divorceresourceconsult.com.
and book a
And if you
consult with
can't,
Olivia.
yeah, book a consult. I am booked out very through February. So if you need me, you email me. We will always find a time. It's interesting, Jenny. Jenny and I talk a lot about how we do such different things in the business that we often
Yeah,
like don't, and we don't always communicate, like, because we don't have to, right? Like,
no.
what's happening. So, well, an interesting thing is that I get a significant, let's say that, in a week, 20 people sign up to do a consult. Of
Mhm,
those 20 people, some don't show up, but some, this morning this happened. A woman emailed me to cancel for a couple weeks from now. And she said, I need to cancel. And you can see in the calendar, like, why. So, sometimes they put why they canceled.
mhm.
And she put, I'm not going to be alone. And so I emailed her back immediately and I said, when you are alone, send me an email and I'll
Yeah.
I'll be there to support you. And, I just, that's why we leave so much space in our day to
Mhm.
make time for these people, because
You leave
that's,
so much space. I mean, yes, you do. You schedule
I
out that space, but yeah, like, you're
I mean,
booked, baby.
I am booked. I go from
Yeah.
from 8 to 3 and then from 6 to 10 usually.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Same.
yep, you do too. And doing all different things. And
Yep.
so, I think maybe people don't realize too that a big part of our work is we don't just support people going through divorce, we support our experts, right? And
Yeah.
so that was something that was important to us because of our background in marketing and PR and business. And so, oh my gosh, speaking of business, did you see my thread today about the kids' questions to me last night?
No.
Okay, I will just share the story with you because I want your real live reaction. We were
Okay.
driving home. The kids have been asking a lot about money because they know that we build a startup, right? So they're like, "How much money do you have, mom? Do you have?" And I'm always like, "We have enough money. We'll be fine."
Mhm,
The whole thing.
mhm.
So last night we were driving home from haircuts. Shout out to Gab at the mill, who also, by the way, emailed the boys this morning and was like, "It was so good to see you guys. Thanks for hanging out with me." And I was like,
Oh,
"So sweet."
wait, but, like, can we just diverge for one
Yeah,
second from
that's
that?
yeah,
Like, the reason you ended up with Gab was because our beloved hairstylist,
yeah,
long time, did our hair, our grandmother's hair, the
yeah,
boys' hair, our mother's hair.
yeah. Brothers,
Deborah
yeah,
passed
yeah,
away.
yeah.
Colin, of course, how could I
Right,
forget Colin?
right.
Deborah passed away
Yeah, we love Deborah.
unexpectedly,
Yeah,
very bizarre. Like, we were so close that we texted with her. She
yeah,
always liked our posts. Like, she was gonna take over my lease when I left my
yeah.
apartment.
No, we love
Like,
Deborah.
we
Yeah,
love Deborah, and so that's how you ended up with Gab, and, like, I'm so glad, and, like, I got my
yeah.
haircut this week too, and, like, shout out to Jonas at Jonas Wolf, like, Salon. Like, I love going there, and I wonder, part of my experience for loving going there is that it's just me and him in the space.
Yes, yes. And so I'll tag the mill in this. The mill it opened in Huntington a while ago, and I had been keeping my eye on them. They're very um feminist,
They're,
liberal.
like, Gen Z coded, I feel like, strongly.
Yeah, but they're like, it's like, and they're very personal. They're very trauma informed and they're
Mhm,
very
mhm.
personalized. So it's the same thing. She washes your hair. She's with you the whole
Yep,
step of the way. And
yep.
we were just randomly assigned to her when I first started going there, and we adore her.
Yeah, she's part of the
Um,
family.
and yeah, and actually it was so sweet because she hadn't seen the boys since before Christmas, but she knew that Weston was auditioning for Willy Wonka, and so she came over to me before he sat down in the chair last night, and she was like, "What role did he get? Like, I want to make sure, and it was so freaking trauma informed." I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh my god." Anyway,
Love
we were
that.
driving home from the mill. Shout out to the mill. If you're in Huntington, go check them out. They're super wonderful.
And
Um,
shout out to Jonas Wolf at Jonas Wolf Salon. If you're in Edinburgh and you're looking for a haircut, he's amazing.
we'll tag them all in the
Yeah.
show notes for this. Um, and from the back seat, Wyatt goes, "Mom, when are you gonna get a real job?" And I said, "I have a real job. I'm a CEO of a company." And he
Yeah.
goes, "Yeah, but like a real job." And Weston was in the front seat. Weston's like, "What do you mean by a real job? Like working at a place?" And Wyatt was
Yeah.
like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Well, first of all, let's back up." I was like, "I had a social media agency, marketing
Right.
agency for 10 years that was
But you
incredibly
didn't work for
successful."
somebody else.
Right. And I said, "Oh, because then they were asking about their dad too." And I said, there, I think it started because we were talking about child support. That's what it was. And I was like, "Oh yeah, your dad always pays his child. He's great with
Right.
that, whatever."
Right.
And they were like, "Does daddy make more money than you?" And I said, "Honestly, I have no idea how much your dad makes, but
Right.
historically, yes. Like I've always worked for myself. Takes me 5 years to make as much as he does, like and whatever. Not that's not what I mean. It took me 5
I'm
years
concerned to get
to
your
start
company up.
making yes, yes,
Yeah.
like
But I'd also like to add that when you did work for somebody else at a school,
yeah, I
you
wasn't
still
making any
didn't
money.
make as much
I was
money
making I was making when
less money than you make
I was
now.
making $35,000 working as a teacher on my 7th year teaching. And
Yeah.
then 5 years into, social media marketing, I was making about $60,000 a year.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
said to the kids, that was the money that allowed me to get divorced. And, I said and then I was like and then I got really, like, self-righteous. And I was like, "Do you realize that, like, my social media agency" first of all, I said and Weston was like, "Oh, Marchline." And I was like, "Yeah, but actually it was called Howell Media House." And then I was like, "Actually, it was called Howell Social Media before that." And Weston goes, "That's the stupidest name I've ever heard." And I was like, "Thank you."
I
And he's like, "It's so, like, literal." And I was like, "Well, I was one of the first social media agencies. There was
Yeah.
no one
Yeah.
did this
Nobody was
before
doing that. Yeah.
Instagram." Anyway, and so then this is
I
a long
need you to
story.
stop saying that. It wasn't before Instagram.
No,
It was before
I
people were
started
advertising. It was not before Instagram.
oh, yeah, I
You
guess, you're
started
right.
doing social
Before
media.
advertising on Instagram and Facebook, yeah.
You started doing you were doing freelance social media on
Yes.
Facebook before Instagram
Yes,
for
that
Harris.
is what I was doing. Yes, yes.
That
That's
was just freelance,
and I
yeah,
was doing Instagram advertising before Instagram
before
advertising was a
Instagram was
thing. Yeah,
monetized in any
yeah,
way, yeah, before
yes,
influencers came to
yes.
Instagram the same way.
Thank you
Yeah,
for translating that. So, then I said to them,
job.
"You
That's
realize
my
that"
job
thank
that's a
you.
real job that I get paid for.
I was like, "You realize that your mom has worked for television shows and movies and global brands." And Wyatt goes, "What global brand?" And I was like, "Remember the rice that we used to eat?" And he goes, "Rice? What why do they need social media?" Like that.
He's such an asshole.
And I was like, "What do you mean?" I was like, that was" and he goes, "Global?" And he goes, "Where?" And I was like, "All
You want me to
over the
send him a
world."
picture of the grocery store? They're here
I was
everywhere.
like, "All over the world." And then, it was just so funny because, like, they see like and it makes me wonder what they think I do all day.
Well, it's different for Weston and Wyatt, right?
Yeah,
Because Weston was there for the transition,
right.
and Weston just generally wants to be. He's got a more of an air of respectfulness than Wyatt does. Wyatt sort of the fun air right
I
now
mean,
is to be
meanwhile, Wyatt was
disrespectful.
our moneymaker back when I,
He was a baby model,
because he was
yeah,
a baby but he would model all the baby shit that I would get from the brands.
yeah,
I was teetering on the edge of mom influencer there, and then I pulled back from that and started
yes,
writing
he
instead.
did, yeah.
And
But they
so
were both in stuff about
yeah,
the writing that you did. They were both
all of
in.
that. I mean, used to be that's how I got started was as a parenting writer. Yeah. And then I did some really random things. I wrote for the MS Foundation, and, I did some really odd things. It was very, very different back then because freelance
Yeah.
writing was a completely
But
different story.
did you get sort of to the crux of why he thought that
Oh,
you didn't have a real job? Because you don't have to go someplace?
yeah, and I think that's what it came down to because I was like, "Well, your dad's an engineer, so, like, engineers typically make more money than startup founders in the beginning."
Yeah.
And I'm like and he well, he
He's also
used to
been
go to
doing the same job for 20 years.
right, and I said he used to go to I don't know what he does now, but he used to go when we were married to
Yeah.
a office every day, right? So I think that there's definitely, like, a location thing there,
Yeah.
right?
And I'm sure, like, his other friends at school, their parents leave the house or at least work for somebody else in their
Right,
house, right?
yes,
If
yeah,
they work from home, they're working for a
yeah,
company, and I get it. I mean, people it's hard for people to understand that, like, we make real
yeah,
money and
yeah.
we have a real company. We still have social media clients. We
I
have
mean
PR
and
clients, and we
I'm
have our
like
expert community.
and I think it is really hard for people to understand when I say or when you say, "I'm booked all day." Like, yesterday, I was on calls and Zooms and
Yep.
coaching all day long.
Yep.
And, like, I totally and people don't, like nobody understand like, unless you're, like, in it with us, it's very hard to understand or have a
Yeah, or
business like
unless
us.
you like, right, run a business like us or
Right.
you're a freelance or something like that. I mean, I
Mhm.
think people say too, like, even people that work for companies that like, big companies, right? Like
Right.
Microsoft that work from home, like, their families still don't understand that they're
No.
working. Like,
No.
they're not available all day. They can't just, like, pick up something or run out. Like, it's a big yeah, people, for some reason working from home, that's so interesting. I had no idea that he had those thoughts,
Me
Wyatt.
neither. Me neither. Well, he always wants to make sure we have money. Oh, that's
Because
nice.
because he likes to spend money. What's nice?
We're trying out a new social media platform, and the
Mhm.
video auto-posted. That's great.
That's awesome. We
Oh,
love
I'm
that.
so happy about that. Okay. Anyway, let's wrap it up because we've been rambling, but we've talked about some interesting things. Do you
Yeah,
wanna
I that's fascinating. I can send you a picture of the shelves with the rice that are
well, it's
here.
funny because I posted on Threads and Siobhan hi, Siobhan, was like, "I loved when you worked for the rice company because she was one
You
of
got
our
all the
main
rice.
influencers, yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, that's the thing. It's hard, like, I think that it's hard for people to understand too, like this is what I was saying this on Lorraine's podcast, which we're not gonna wrap it up yet because we have things to say. I
oh,
was
yeah.
on Lorraine's podcast this week, we recorded it this week, and I was saying to her, like, I just think that people don't understand that there's other jobs besides lawyer, doctor, teacher, banker. Like, I
Right.
think so often when you go to school, especially a school like ours, it was
Yeah.
like, "So, which of the 4 are you gonna be?" And it's like,
Yeah.
"None." You can
Yeah.
make your own path. And it's weird and it's complicated and it might mean that before I worked with you, I freelanced for a
Yeah.
long time, and I just sort of cobbled together a really good income, but it was random. I didn't know when the next job was going to come and I didn't know how much it was going to be, but you sort of just figure it out. I think that, you and I both, for whatever reason, have weirdly, given all of our anxieties, we sort of have the savings, but also, like, energetically, like, we can handle, like, a little bit more of inconsistent income. We're
Right.
like, "Okay, like, we'll just, like, ride it out until, like, the next one." Okay, so the next thing yes, I was on Lorraine's podcast, from Teen to Titan earlier this week, which I'm very excited about, that coming out. I also recorded with Natalie from Eager to Please, which I'm thrilled about. That was a fun conversation about worthiness. It was a fun conversation about how I felt unworthy because,
Unworthy. Yeah.
uh and I was like, I think this is the thing. Maybe my ex won't like to hear this when it comes out,
He's
and
not gonna listen.
I'm sort of narrowing in on it. A lot of my unworthiness came from my body, and
Yeah.
he made me feel like I was too big all the time, and he confirmed that at the end of the relationship. So
Mm.
that was a tough one, but that goes back to my swimming. I said to her at the end, like,
Yeah.
"I'm swimming now just because I love swimming, and I go
Yeah.
4 times a week, and I've been doing it since June, which is really, really
It's
good."
amazing. Yeah. I don't have that.
Okay, and then so I think I've finally set the layout for the February issue of Divorce
Woohoo!
Guide magazine. I feel behind, but it's only 2 weeks into the month. Um, and I'm gonna be putting all the events in it. Olivia has to book a couple of more events for
Yeah.
February, get those on the calendar.
Yeah.
But I do know that for January, coming up next week, we have Nervous System 101 with Madison Rose. So if you're interested in Nervous System 101, go to freshstartsregistry.com/events, and you will see all of our events there, including the ones we are hosting with our experts like Nervous System 101. And then we have a bunch of really, really great events that just need to get on the calendar for February. And maybe I'll share them with you next week if you're good.
Try the
Not you.
suns in
The
my eyes.
audience has to be good.
I
The
love our
sun,
events. We had such a great event yesterday with Heather and Doug Bonaparte,
and that.
about money together. I wish you had been there. It was really fun. It was such a great convo. I love them. Such good people. Such good people. Salt of the earth.
Such good people.
Go buy money together. Um, I said to them, I'm like, when we start our streaming platform, they get their own show to help couples.
You're giving out a lot
I'm
of
giving
shows
away.
right
You
now.
get a show, and you get a show. Boy, what?
I'm
What?
worried about all the shows that you're giving
We
away.
have plenty of space. We're gonna build a longer streaming platform. There's always space for more people. Um,
Pull up a chair to our streaming
pull
platform.
up a chair. You're gonna be a fresh starts expert or a fresh starts. What do we call them? Lifestyle expert. Fresh starts.
All right. Well, are we
Oh,
gonna
now
go
you're cutting
record a
me
couple
off. Yeah.
Are we gonna go record a couple podcasts now?
Yeah, we have to do some.
Okay.
Have you been listening to Wake Up Fresh, everybody? Make sure to listen to Wake Up Fresh. We did swap today and tomorrow in order so that we had one every
Did
day.
we?
What?
I said, "Did we?" I
Yeah,
didn't
we
know
did.
what you ended up doing.
But and then also don't forget to tune into Divorce 101, which is so fun. Anyway, thanks for listening. We're here if you need us. You can always reach us at Olivia at freshstartsregistry.com. I've been getting a lot of people that are like, I'm trying to reach you and I can't email you. Make sure it's Fresh Starts. It's the S. That's
You
tripping them up.
know, I'm, like, wondering if we just invest in that email
Freshstartregistry.com.
because we have the URL. We have the
Oh,
URL.
well, we can take this conversation off the
Well, I'd
podcast.
also before we leave, I'd like to applaud both of us for not going on any long political rants that you have
I
to
was
cut
gonna
out.
not have that happen anyway because I didn't want to edit that, so it's fine.
I know, I'm proud of
Yeah,
us.
I
Good for
know.
us.
We
And you can
well, you
keep
know what?
that in. They can know that we go on the long political rants.
I don't know how to say this in a way that's, like, gentle, but, like, when you work in our type of industry, especially when I'm
Yeah,
working day to day with people going through divorce, you have to I'm so hyper, like, in that loop with these
yeah,
people, like, in
yeah.
support, and so you know, it's just a lot going on in the world, but I'm very focused on our people here, so
Well, we're
it's
focused on helping the yeah, of course,
yeah,
but that's what I'm saying. I'm
yeah.
just proud of us for not going on anything that made you have to edit
No, I
massively.
I think we're
I
good.
think you should post this episode.
Are you allowing me to post this episode?
I
Was
don't
there
think I
anything I
said
said?
anything. No, yeah, I think you're
Do you wanna
good.
talk about Dad for a while? Just kidding, Dad, we love you. Not editing that one out.
He can
Okay.
handle it. He can take it.
He
He
can
doesn't
handle
listen.
it. Harry can handle it.
He still doesn't follow me on Instagram.
Dad! Oh, it's
You
week
guys,
2! I think this
week
is a new
2,
game.
week 2. We'll check in next week. We'll let you know
Where
if it's week
yeah.
3 of Harry not following
Harry.
Genevieve.
Okay. Well, we love you all. We will talk to you soon. Sayonara.